I am wearing a shirt. It just hangs kind of low. You see, like, ooh, whoopsie. Almost see my belly button through this shirt. God damn. Y'all, eek. Wow. I know, I'm always, like, always out of weed. It sucks. Um, I, I'm sick with COVID, or I have a small amount of food poisoning. It's one of those two things. So I was thrown up. I have a headache. I just got out of the shower. I like showering and washing my hair when I have a headache because I can tell myself maybe I'm just have a headache because I haven't washed my hair in too long, and I just need to wash my hair. That'll maybe that's why. And then while I'm in the shower, also, I think, just in case I am sick, also I should shower in hot water for an extended period of time to so as to cook myself. Like when you have food or meat that has something bad in it, you or it's just got bacteria in it. 'Cause it's whatever. It's raw meat. I'm raw meat. Shower water hot. Cook. I cook myself so that the virus can go away. Cause yeah, and that's not like a COVID specific thing. I've always enjoyed thinking that maybe I'm sweating out the toxins. Maybe I'm cooking the viruses. Anytime that I'm sick, anytime that I have a headache, I'm a very impatient patient when I'm sick with something. I'm like, I'll just be laying around and I'll be like, how can I speed run this? Because I'm tired of feeling this. Uh, can I sleep through it? Can I masturbate? Because that'll release, even if it won't make me less sick, it might make me feel less sick for like a minute, right? Because like your brain releases whatever it is that says like, oh, good, you're reproducing. This is a good evolutionary thing. We want to encourage it, so we'll release the juices that make you feel good emotionally, um, and sort of physically. Like the headache goes away for a minute after I masturbate, but then also I'll just be in the shower thinking like I like it's not rational. It's just I'll just try anything and everything. I'll be like, should I drink more water? That's a pretty good one. You should drink more water. Not the piss jar. I'm just kidding. So so yeah, those are some of my home remedies for when I'm feeling sick. I just try everything, just do everything, but not everything. Like it's most important to take it easy and to rest and just take care of yourself. Just take because your body, you you as an entity, you can assist, and that's all you're really trying to do, is trying to do your best to assist, because your body knows what it's doing for the most part. Like it's got cells and bits working on it to get yourself in proper working order. So like really, you just need time is the best medicine, probably. But oh, and then the second best medicine is to think positive, encouraging thoughts about you, and and to think that that your relationships are going well, and that people love you and will want to take care of you and see you thrive, and you know, like, so, like, okay, like like it's I have a hard time dissecting this thought because, like, I don't know to what amount it's placebo, or like that, like, if it feels like it's working, doesn't that mean it kind of works? Where, like, I'll close my eyes and I'll try to feel it out in my brain. I'll try to feel out, like, where's this headache coming from? Is it a psychological thing? Isn't everything a psychological thing? If I just kind of try, just try to feel it out in your mind palace, like, push along, like, the little edges of, like, is there is there anxiety in here? Is there, like, some kind of blood vessel that's gotten, like, stuck on some other, like, bit of brain matter that, like, if you were to just, like, because, like, thoughts are physical things, right? So if you, like, think the right sort of thoughts, pushing in the right directions, maybe it'll kind of smooth out the the rug, the like, the little fold in the rug that you're trying to, like, smooth out, and then you don't have a headache anymore, right? Right? I mean, I also took like a Tylenol or whatever, um because you just do it. Just, don't do it too often, but, like, just, you don't need to suffer while you're recovering. Take a little medicine for sure. I love medicine. I love science. I love doctors. All doctors are bastards, but I do love the medicine. So, um basically, I'm Tabby. Hello, welcome to my channel. This is where I make videos about media literacy and, documenting my spiral, and, um oh, and we're going for world peace, obviously, all uh as all of us are, really. Um it would be nice to see that. And, I think at least sometimes, if not most of the times, I come into these videos with, um well, usually the guaranteed thing is that I come into it with a piece of media that I want to talk about, and that is the case. I do have some media on my mind at the moment. Um, but beyond that, what usually gives me some more confidence and direction is that I'll have, an idea specifically that I want to get to, a point that I would like to make, and I really don't really have that this time. So if you find my ramblings to be generally, like, you have a hard time finding, a point in what I'm saying, this video may not be for you. Uh, um, so the series that I want to talk about is One. It is a YouTube animated cartoon called One by Cheesy HFJ, and it relates to the video title, which I haven't really thought of yet. It's something to do with breaking conventions, but, like, I want to find some way to make that sound a little bit snappier, so hopefully I did. um So, when you have when you have reached proficiency in a some kind of artistic skill, like when you have like just hit the point where you could make something that you feel confident would look technically proficient enough that like nobody would look at it and say like, why did you make this? You clearly weren't skilled enough to make it yet. um when you're past that point, when you could make something that looks like it could trick the common person into looking at it and going, "Oh, this is a God, this is a whole fucking topic." Ugh. Like, there's a way that I think beginners, and by beginners I mean either children or adults who don't make art, basically. That beginners look at something and they kind of have this like binary judgment of whether or not this is like just whether this is like a finished product that like people have like this fucking, and I guess I should use my I statements. Like, I grew up with this impression of like, well, like I don't know, like anything that airs on TV, for example, has this air of, oh, this is a TV show and it's just something that happens. You know, it just gets made somehow. Who knows how the sausage gets made, but that it airs on TV and it's got this fuck, I actually kind of want to pause the recording and like look up the terms for this, cuz it's like this thing where this illusion that things aren't just made by people, you know, that it's not just people just like you and me working together to make something. I think, and especially when I was a kid, like it's like I watch these like larger than life productions, and I don't think, oh wow, this is something that I could be a part of making someday. It's more like, wow, there's real life, and then there's this like, sorry, I'm not, this I as I pull at like little topics that I'm like, oh, I would actually love to talk about that and dissect that. I'm realizing like, oh, it actually kind of pains me to be making this video so unscripted and disorganized. Um, but I'm like, I'm in this era where I don't edit. Like, I used to just not script these videos, but now I'm not editing them either. Like, so I'm like, what do I do in this situation? How do I organize my thoughts? Um, I'll grab like a I'll go grab the I could like turn the pages. Notebook. Hmm. Yeah, this is a good video. This is a good video. Thank you. Um, Go watch my other video called "Death of the Audience." That one didn't get enough views. Ratatata, ratatouille, ratatata. Part 1, real art. We've been in part 1 for a while. So there's this feeling that like what you see airing on TV is like I can't do this. I can't do this. There's like articles and Tumblr posts and shit that like actually like put these words together, and I really want to share this information and talk about it and all that, but like I'm doing you a disservice to not just look it up. I don't know. I don't think this video is gonna work out, but I'll try anyway. Like a TV show versus something that just a person and a group of friends write and film and upload somewhere. You know, that's something that anyone can do. So like there's this inherent sense that like if it airs on TV, it's like it's a real TV show versus anything else that was like, you know, more independent. And then there's like books that get published and printed and sold in a bookstore, and you walk to the bookstore and you hold a physical book and you're like, well, this is a real book by a real author, as opposed to like something that someone writes and publishes to like a fanfic website, or even not even fanfic necessarily, just you know just post it to your own website or blogging site or whatever. um, my head is empty. My head is just empty right now. I'm like, I'm in such a condition. But he like I don't know, it was just a huge part of growing up and and finally seeing like the other side of the illusion that like it's some kind of magic that happens when people who are skilled at their craft come together and make something that it just feels so like when you're an audience member, when you're in Twitch chat watching a streamer, you don't even feel like you're the same species as the streamer. You know, when you're like a teenager listening to music from a band, like it's unreal. How do they make instruments come together and they sing and they mix it together and then it's a song like and when you grow up in a world filled like from baby to growing up and you're surrounded by music and TV shows and video games, it's like it just seems like it feels like a part of the world that already exists. Like I don't really grow up and see a mountain and think like, "Oh wow, I could make that." You know? It feels so massive and unapproachable like until you like actually kind of go through the process of learning a skill yourself that like that you can start to learn, oh, it just takes time and depending on like the scale of the project, like collaboration and like the fucking magic that happens when people work together. um and then like I think a lot of people get locked into thinking like that success means looking like you have successfully imitated the things that you grew up seeing well enough that like you could kind of you could make something yourself that feels so well put together that that if you were to then show it to a layperson that they would feel the magic that you felt of like you made this like you like this didn't exist and then you just did some things for a couple months and now this exists like that's amazing. And it's satisfying if you've never like sat down and made something yourself like like try it it's fun. it it it, it's gonna feel like you're not doing anything really maybe for the first 10 or 100 times that you try it. But then like it really is, you learn by doing, you really do, you get to feel out the edges of what you were trying to do. And if you get into like the cycle in like a good productive way, you can learn so much by doing of what worked well and what didn't. And and to see that like what the point is of ironing out the wrinkles. And 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 you don't have to go down the path that I go down, which is this kind of petty sense of like, well, when I make something that I want to be seen by a lot of people, sure, I'll try to smooth out all the wrinkles. I'll try to what's the word like the Bezos calls it like paper cuts. CJDX calls it flow, like a flow, like you want the viewer to be able to get engaged in like a flow state with your art, and you want to remove anything that causes like friction. So, you know, yeah, you can do that, but like then if I'm creating for myself, or if I'm creating with the intention in mind of like, well, if someone comes across like a video like this one, and they you know, whether it's because of attention span or just interest or taste, they're like that you can't watch this video for more than a few minutes before you're like, fuck this, then neither of us are necessarily missing out on each other. Like if you are a 7-year-old who is on YouTube looking for just some bright, fun, silly distractions, and somehow you're on this video for a few minutes, then you're like, I don't know what the weird tranny is talking about. Then you click off and you go watch an object show. Like that, to me, that's just like that's perfect. That's convenient. That's great. This is not for you. This is for like a freak like me who would have been really happy to see videos like this from creators that I looked up to growing up. Like, God, I don't know. Fuck. Like, I love crunchy art. I love weird, rambling bullshit. So, like, so I consider this kind of like a sketchbook of a channel, you know? Like I'm just you know, there's doodling for drawing, there's noodling for music making, whatever the equivalent of video making is for this. I guess vlogging probably, but like freeform messy vlogging. Like from the early days of YouTube, damn it. Conventions. So when you are creating something that is meant to fit within a certain medium or a certain genre, you're learning the conventions and the tropes and the techniques that are commonplace, and for reasons things get imitated and redone again and again and again and again and again and again, because and again. And part of it's because it's what it is, you know, like, are you gonna make music that doesn't have a beat? Are you gonna make a game that has no player input? Like, are you legally allowed to call it a game if there's no player input? Like, but something that's really exciting to me about the world we live in is that none of this shit came standard. We didn't spawn on Earth with the concept of all these different art mediums, right? like the entire concept of a motion picture is invented, and I think it's so it was important a long time ago, and it becomes hyper critical as time goes on, that we teach people that this shit doesn't just, you know, exist, because like it's way too easy to just be born into a world that has smartphones and tablets and computers, and to just be like, well, I guess this is just how the world is, you know? There's movies. There've always been movies. There will always be movies. And it's like, and it's like, now, like, how do you, but that's not the case. And there's gonna be new art forms. There's, or rather, not so much as like an inevitability. I would phrase it that there can be new mediums, new genres. It's kind of satisfying for my autistic brain to wrap my head around it, because genres always confused the hell out of me growing up. Like I really couldn't wrap my head around, like, what, how can there be, like, how can you set out to make a song, and like, is it gonna be a like a country song, or is it gonna be a techno? Like, what if you use elements from both? Like, what if you make something that isn't inspired by any genre? Like how does this work? And I was trying to figure out what the natural, like, in Platonic categorizations for genres are, and what you, and the conclusion that I come to is that there's as many genres as there are genders. There's one for every thing that exists, if you want to be that way, if you want to be that way about it. Like, every movie is its own genre. The map is not the territory. The I don't know, like, that, it's so weird because it feels like we're at this, I don't know, I would feel like we're at, like, this end point of, like, oh, all the genres have been invented then, because why wouldn't they be? Like, there's platformer, there's RPG, there's action adventure, there's shooter, there's, and it's like, but then it's like, those things kind of, you know, it can, anything can be both, or like none, or I don't know. Sorry, I'm losing the fucking plot. If I ever in my little life had the plot. Um. So I might have to pause this, actually. I'm hanging out with somebody soon. I didn't think this video would take this long to record, but whoop. So it's, so you know, following in the footsteps of everyone who came before you, you want to make something, and you want to make it new and interesting and worth the time someone would have to spend consuming it or interacting with it. And basically what you want to do is you want to see what your inspirations are, you know, what you hope to accomplish. But to me, innovation just comes from convention breaking, from seeing what everyone else is doing and just figuring out what exactly is missing, especially to your standards. Like, what were you hoping to get from the thing you were watching? What feels like you could expect to happen based on, you know, other things you've seen, or, you know, pie in the sky, what would you dream, like, could happen that, like, generally never would happen? Like if you're, like, watching, like, Sonic X, and wishing that Sonic would come out of the TV and be friends with you, like, or I guess that's kind of what Sonic X is, isn't it? Isn't that just what the premise of, so like, let's say you're playing Sonic the Hedgehog and you wish he would come out of the screen and be friends with you. So there's Sonic X, a cartoon about Sonic just landing in some kid's home and being his best friend. Like, that show did things to my brain. I really wanted to be friends with Sonic. Um, so we're gonna have to cut the video here. How odd. You know, what's gonna be on the next page? Well, stay tuned.